Welcome back to another action figure obsession video. It's me, your old pal Avian Unloaded, and I apologize for the fact that we haven't had many action figure obsession videos in the past week or two. Um, haven't really had too many additions to the collection, number one, and number two, uh, having a little health issue that's kind of made it hard for me to sleep and sapped my energy level, but had a great day today. Went and visited the original Star Trek series set tour up in Ticonderoga, New York, with friend of the channel, Dr. Witty Banter. We had a wonderful day from start to finish and took in some of the sights in Vermont and upstate New York. Great day. And although my back hurts and my feet hurt, I feel kind of energized by the day that we had. Don't really have a specific goal for this video, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about one of the paradoxes or ironies or just cruel jokes about an action figure obsession such as I have. I've been collecting toys on and off since roughly 1972. I've had 3 or 4 distinct periods where I was in collecting mode and then purged them all or sold them all or gave them all away and said, never again, I'm done with these, and here we are. And, I've got a sizable Marvel Legends collection of about 600, mostly comic book Marvel Legends figures. When I first got back into collecting Legends from Hasbro around 2016, 2017, when I was dipping my toe back in after, having given up on them in the Toy Biz days. The first thing that I was interested in, I guess because the movies were so hot at the time, was collecting all of the Marvel Legends MCU movie figures. And that was one of my goals, and at the time it seemed possible because there still were not that many around. And eventually, as anyone who knows anything about Hasbro and Marvel Legends knows, it just grew out of control. So here's the funny thing. At one point I did purge, I'm going to say 95% of my movie Legends. Just said, enough, no more. I'm going to stick with the comic stuff, the comic guys. Dance with the ones that brung me, if you will. So over the last few days, as I have been thinking, just sort of rebuilding my energy level and thinking about doing an AFO video, Action Figure Obsession, I was looking around on my shelves for inspiration, and I started to notice just how many movie figures were sprinkled in among my comic displays. Like, I don't have any actually anymore comic Quicksilver. Right there in the middle, you see the movie, the Age of Ultron Quicksilver. You didn't see that coming, did you? But there he is right in the middle of your screen. And I really like that figure. He doesn't really go with a comic display because he's, a smaller scale. The MCU movie figures are smaller scaled than the comic figures, even though they're both Marvel Legends and they're both from Hasbro. They kill me with that whole bunch of bullshit. Because it would be really nice if some of these, and some of the movie figures are quote unquote oversized. This Infinity War Captain America scales fairly well against other, against comic sized Marvel Legends, even though it's an MCU legend. But he towers, as you can see, over Agent Everett Ross here. So, he was very controversial when he came out, both for the head sculpt and the hair, and, the fact that he was slightly different size, the fact that his flesh tone on his forearms doesn't match the flesh tone on his hands. A lot of things wrong with that figure, but I do love Captain America, as you know. Here's a whole bunch of, brought to you by, here's a whole bunch of my, these are just my Captain America, basically doubles. In my formal, if you will, organized comic displays, this is just my work table. But in my organized displays, all of these guys are, many of these guys are represented, I guess I should say. Not all of them. I don't have the Marvel Now cap in a comic display right now. I don't have that Secret War concept art cap in a display, but I do have the 80 years Alex Ross cap and the 20 Years cap and the Secret Wars cap and the Marvel vs. Capcom cap. I have all of them in my displays in various places. So the ones that are on the work table of those particular ones are just, doubles, keep them around for inspiration, like to have them close at hand. When I am pondering my collection and thinking about stuff, by the way, there's 2 sets of figures here that it was just too much work to pull out, but are technically MCU figures. The Matt Murdock, MCU Matt Murdock, the gray suited body, which I refer to as the Gray Agency for my personal headcanon. All those guys are technically MCU figures. Some of them with comic heads, like Nick Fury there, and who else? Oh, that's the Count Nefaria there in the very center, playing the part of the 1960s Master from Doctor Who. All these, the red costumed tracksuit mafia from the Hawkeye TV show, those are all obviously MCU figures. I didn't want to pull those all out. And they don't stand very well either, so I would be inviting a mass casualty event if I had moved them to this already way oversized group of figures, many, many more than I was expecting. I didn't even think it would be half this many, but when I got done, and there's still a few actually, like you see way there in the back, you got the Wolverine there. Was that the Amazon Wolverine? The one with the tank top, or maybe Amazon was the one with the football jacket. But anyway, that Wolverine there. I've got another one of those. Oh, there he is over there. Dead center there behind Deathlock and next to Venom. But so yeah, I didn't grab all of them. If they're, and there's a J. Jonah Jameson, a movie J. Jonah Jameson there in the center. But I have 2 of those, and I didn't see any point in pulling them both over here. But what I was thinking about doing, and I'm so tired, I don't know if I have the energy to do it today. I was thinking about going through these and kind of deciding which ones I really want to keep and which ones should really seriously just be considered as kit bash fodder or even sold off or traded away. And I can see going through all these and picking them out and separating them into 2 sets of figures. Bizarrely, looking them over, there's not that many that I'd really get rid of. I mean, Jimmy Woo, my first thought is not to get rid of Jimmy Woo. My first thought is to just put him in with my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. display. I can't remember if he was in S.H.I.E.L.D. or the FBI or the CIA or what the hell ever else he was in the movies, but he was a fun character in the films, and although the figure has those lousy Coulson legs and doesn't stand up really well, it's a great representation of the figure, and I believe the character is also in the comics. So it's tough. That yellow jacket back there, the Ant-Man villain from the first Ant-Man movie, you see him there in the center. I love the figure. I have zero affection for that version of that character. I love comic Yellow Jacket. I wish we had a comic Yellow Jacket that was as good as that movie Yellow Jacket. I see him more as like a generic AIM like trooper or something. I don't know. This is the problem. This is the obsession. This is the torture of my life, is that I want to make more space for figures that I really, really, top tier, God tier, S tier, whatever tier. Don't cry a tear for me. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Whatever tier you want to put them on. I want to, Marie Kondo this shit and let some of these guys go. But then, you look at the individual ones, that MCU Luke Cage, that was a great figure, great likeness. This is the only the only Peggy Carter that is good. That one that came with the World War II set with the what did that come with? It was with the Captain America. He didn't have a motorcycle, did he? The other one had the motorcycle. But there was that Peggy Carter that had like the skirt and was basically a statue. But Agent or Captain Carter here is a pretty good figure and a great likeness to the actress. And Baron Mordo. I love Chiwetel Ejiofor, and this is the only action figure of him that I have, and I don't want to let that go. And Tom, what's his name from Spider-Man? What's his name? Tom, what's his name? Not Tom Hardy. Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Hardy. Tom Holland here in the center. Actually, a really good representation of Peter Parker with a nice backpack and everything. I had him as Rick Jones in my Hulk display for a while, but I couldn't stop seeing him as goddamn movie Peter Parker. And then you got three other, Spider-Men here. You got your Andrew Garfield and your what's that guy's name? Tobey Maguire. And again, Tom Holland, the Final Swing Spider-Man, and the Netflix Punisher, and a little kit bashed Born Again Matt Murdock. Not Born Again, No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Matt Murdock. I think he looks better on the blue suited Everett Ross body than he does. Where is he? He's over here. I know there he is. I think he looks better on the blue suit than he does in the gray suit. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, we're not really getting anywhere. I'm just spinning my wheels here, thinking out loud. This Hawkeye figure with the super long giraffe neck. I believe this goes for money now, but I just like the Jeremy Renner head sculpt. I think it's terrific, and I want to keep it just for that reason alone. I don't even have the makings anymore of a Marvel MCU Avengers display. I used to. I still have Natasha here, probably the best head sculpt for Scarlett Johansson that you're ever going to see, but she's got those really shitty clogs and she can't stand up, so that's why she's not only is she on a flight stand, she's on a goddamn McFarlane DC multiverse flight stand because the Honey Badger just don't give a fuck, really. And then I got some Captain Americas here that I put over here because they're MCU figures, but I already know none of them are going. I can't. They're going back over here with all the other Captain Americas because I just fucking love Captain America. What do you want from me? If you've watched any of these videos, you know I'm weak. You know I'm obsessed. You know I'm conflicted and torn. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Look at that Winter Soldier. Goddamn figure that the body mold is like, 107 years old now, but he still looks really cool. Where's the other one? There's another one here too somewhere. I know there is. Did I put them both in this? Where's the other Winter Soldier? Where's he? Oh, I think I put him. Oh, there's the comic Winter Soldier. Oh, there he is. There's the other. That's that original. And I think that might be the original body, the original figure. And then the other one might be the re-release. I'm not sure. Listen. I've been through a lot. 60 years of this. I can't keep it all straight anymore. I have a spreadsheet for my G.I. Joe collection. That's about 370 figures, I think, at this point. And it's the idea of creating another spreadsheet for all these people, all these figures, plus all of the other shelves across the room with more Marvel Legends over there. G.I. Joe, I got you covered. My spreadsheet is probably still 95% accurate. I got to make some adjustments, and I got little notes to correct everything. But, all the Marvel Legends over there. It's so intimidating to think about starting another spreadsheet and trying to get it organized and keep it organized. Because someday, I'm going to drop dead, and my poor wife and my kids, they're going to be like, the hell do we do with all these things? And, I'd like them to have a list that they could take to a dealer. I mean, ideally, I'd like them to go through and, if there's one that somehow reminds them in some way of me, like fucking Egghead or Blue Deadpool or Scarlet Spider. I mean, who knows what would remind anybody of me. Oh, I didn't show you this, did I? Blue Deadpool currently wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. How about that? He took it away from Darwin. And I don't think he's going to let it go easily, my friends. I really don't. That is the Blue Deadpool of Earth 669 and the Scarlet Spider of Earth 669. And here's a couple of guns that I've been too lazy to put away in the gun crate, and a couple Captain America shields that I've been too lazy to put in the Captain America shield crate. Yes, I have one. Believe it or not. Oh, what am I going to? What can I tell you? Are you tortured by your collection? If you collect action figures, are you tortured by it? Is it something that actually you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh shit, where's that second Stan Lee that I had? Where did I put him? What happened to, why doesn't he have his coat on? Oh, whew. I gave it to that guy. All right, well, I put his coat back on. So now I have two complete, MCU Stan Lees. And what does that really represent in my life? What I want is one really good Jack Kirby. I'd gladly trade you two Stan Lees for a good Marvel Legends Jack Kirby. He's the one that should have one. But ideally, it would be nice if we had Stan, Steve Ditko, and Jack Kirby all together. And then maybe John Romita Sr., Marie Severin, Flo Steinberg. There's a whole bunch of the Marvel bullpen folks that I would love to have an action figure form, but it's, all we're probably ever going to get is Smiling Stan. Yep. Excelsior. So, here it is. Even after purging my Hasbro Marvel Legends MCU movie action figures, we still have more than enough to choke a beluga whale if that was something that we needed to do. I don't advise it. I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying this would get all caught up in their baleen. That would be trouble. That would be trouble. All right. Well, I think there will be a part 2 to this eventually once I figure out what to do with all these figures. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and I appreciate your viewing and support of Action Figure Obsession here on the Avian and Loaded channel. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have anything to say about this sickness that I appear to be down with. And, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and hit the notification bell so you find out when part 2 goes up of this crazy, what the hell should I do with all of these MCU Marvel Legends figures, because I have no idea. Should I make just an MCU display with all these guys? It's such a random, weird assortment of figures. I mean, yes, like there's 3 Netflix figures, The Punisher and Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, and you got a couple of, Fox movie figures with the Wolverine there in the back and the Deadpool, the Legacy Deadpool over there, behind one of the Spider-Men. But, usually if I put something like this together on the work table, like an organizational format will occur to me, and I'll be like, oh, yes, this is what I shall do with them. And those words have not been spoken, and they have not been felt, and it's really disturbing. So if you have advice for me, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Action Figure Obsession, and I will see you on the next one.